I'm very, 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 very picky when it comes to my concealers. All right, today we are doing a review on the Marc Jacobs Extra Shot Concealer and the Omega x3 Face Palette. I'm gonna get right on into it, so hopefully this video is not too long, although you know it probably will be. It's just how we roll around here. Before we go ahead and get started, let's do the YouTubey things. Totes stole that from Emily D. Baker, but I can't stop. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It helps my channel out so much. I appreciate every single one of you that do it so much. Let's just get into all of the details, because I have been testing these two products now for 3 weeks because I have filmed this. Like, this is my 3rd or 4th time filming it, I think. So like, I can only film a couple of times a week. So I've been testing this for so long, and I really do have some thoughts and opinions. So how this is gonna work is I'm gonna tell you guys kind of all the details, my thoughts, etc., and then I'm gonna flash back to past teens and show you the application of the concealer and the face product so that you can see what it actually looks like up close. You know, I zoom you guys in, you get all the gory details, and then that's pretty much gonna be it. So that's gonna be today's review. Stick around. Now, let's do the Extra Shot Concealer first. So this is the Extra Shot Concealer and Foundation. I call it the concealer because my personal opinion is that this should have just been marketed as a concealer. Boom, I said it. Maybe that's not everyone else's opinion, but that's my opinion. I think they would have had a lot more success with this product, because I don't know, I haven't seen a lot of favorable reviews on this particular product, and I think it is because they have also marketed this as a foundation, and I can tell you right now, spoiler alert, I would never use this as a foundation. I don't like it as a foundation, and yeah. I just don't think they should have added the foundation part. I think they would have had a lot more success if they just kept it as a concealer. My concealer is in, and I'm going to keep calling it a concealer because I'm going to ignore the fact this says foundation as well. But my concealer is in the shade 150 Light. I usually just pick a light neutral color, and because of my skin tone, I usually find that that works for me. But the claims of this concealer says that it is a creamy, natural looking, full coverage concealer foundation as well, infused with caffeine. So it does say that it has caffeine in here, oat extract, and 5 types of coconut. It is also vegan and cruelty free. Now, when I purchased this, I actually put the picture of this, like these two products, on my Instagram and was like, should I purchase this collection, knowing that it's probably going to break me out, because I am quite sensitive to coconut. Everyone was like, no girl, don't do it. And I was like that TikTok meme that was like, no girl, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. And then 2 seconds later, I was like, I did it. And the reason for that is because I just freaking love coffee so much. I love the packaging of this face palette so much that I really couldn't resist. I love concealers. I couldn't resist. I just couldn't resist. Anyway, I figured if I use this only as a concealer, I was probably going to be okay with the coconut, because usually I don't break out from that kind of a thing. I have been correct in that as a fun fact. In fact, neither of these products, very surprisingly, have not broken out my sensitive skin. Now, I don't know if that's a change in my skincare routine. I have changed things up since a few years ago when I did use the Marc Jacobs coconut products, or if it's just that for some reason these don't break me out. I don't know what it is, but they don't, and it's a lovely surprise. So happy days. Now, in terms of my actual thoughts on this concealer, you are going to see a little bit more of my thoughts in the application, so I will try and keep this quite succinct, but I really like this as a concealer. I really do. Like I said, I would never use this as a foundation. I have tried it as a foundation. I don't like it. I think it does emphasize my fine lines, but as a concealer, I think this is beautiful. The closest concealer that I have that this looks like to me is the Pat McGrath's Sublime Perfection Concealer. Now, it's not a dupe. It's not an exact dupe, but it is very close in my personal opinion on how it looks on my under eyes. Keep in mind, I say this all the time. You guys know I bitch and moan about my under eyes all the time, but my under eyes are very textured. They have fine lines. They have a lot of pigmentation under here. They're not, you know, I haven't got under eye filler. They're not these perfect, beautiful under eyes. So I am very picky when it comes to my concealers. I pleasantly like this. There is a particular way that I like to apply this concealer that I personally think gets the best application of it for my particular skin type and what I'm looking for, and you will see that in the application in a minute. Now, the reason why I think that it is close to the Sublime Perfection Concealer, I do talk about this in the application, but I just think the finish of this particular concealer on my under eyes looks very, very similar in the fact that it is quite smoothing. However, it is just a little bit drier than the Pat McGrath concealer. So if you find that the Pat McGrath concealer is as hydrating as you possibly could get, and that's the level for you, then you won't like this. It is just a little bit more drier. However, this is not a drying concealer in my particular opinion. It is exactly what they claim it to be, a natural finish. So I do like that, because I find my matte concealers for my particular under eyes, they're dry, they're textured, it just doesn't look so good. I will say you do need to be careful. You do need to set your under eyes with this particular concealer. I find that if you don't, it does get a little bit creasy. But in saying that, that again is probably my under eyes. I do have under eye wrinkles, and regardless of the concealer, that's going to happen. But I wouldn't ever not set this concealer. However, I would never not set any of my products, so I'm not a fair representation of that. Probably better to go on like watch a review with people that don't set their face products if you want to know more about that. You know what I'm saying? All right, so next up is the Omega x3 face palette. This is the product that I purchased the whole collection for, because this packaging, my lord, it reminds me of like a nice latte. I love it. I adore it. I'm a coffee fiend. Makeup and coffee, it's my thing. I love it. That is why I purchased it. It is the exact same size compact as the other Marc Jacobs bronzers that they have released, which is quite large. Like you can see, even just using it against my hand, it's quite a large compact. So if you have seen their bronzers before, then it's the exact same size as that. When you open it up, you do get the mirror, and then you get like the 3 kind of divided pans for the face palette. So you get blush, bronzer, and highlight. Here's my thoughts about this face palette. I think the blush formula in this palette is just not their best work at all, especially if you've tried their other blushes that I know they're discontinuing, but if you have tried them, they were beautiful. I don't know why they're discontinuing them. They were beautiful. This is just not up to that standard in my opinion. The bronzer is beautiful. It's the formula that you know and love if you have tried it. I like the highlight. I don't like that it's hitting hard pan. I personally think if you're not like me and you want to purchase this for the packaging and the packaging alone, I don't think that you need this face product at all. I really, really don't. I think you would be better off just picking up like the bronzer itself, because like the bronzer is a really, really good product. But I think that the blush and the highlight is just a little bit below average, especially considering the price point. Now, if you're sensitive to fragrance in general in products, like even more so than me, then do not get this. And if you are sensitive to smell to the point where certain smells will give you, or fragrances will give you a headache, do not buy this product. And that is actually one of my other biggest complaints is, Marc Jacobs, you don't need to put this much fragrance in your freaking product. Like, it's disgusting. And honestly, you can close this compact and you can smell it, and it doesn't smell like a beautiful coconut. It smells like floral and coconut had a baby, and it doesn't smell good, and it's so strong, and it is almost headache inducing for me, and I'm not usually that sensitive to smells. So yeah, if you're sensitive to fragrance, don't freaking get this product. Maybe that's just my opinion, but that's how I feel about it, okay? Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna shoot you over to past teens. I'm gonna show you how I applied the concealer and the face palette. I zoom you guys in really close so that you get all of the details, and probably give you a little bit more thoughts on the product. Okay, let's do it. We're going to take this concealer and we are going to apply it. Now, normally what I do is I let my concealers sit for a minute and then I blend them out with a sponge, because that's how I normally like to do my concealer. But what I have found with this concealer is that it is a lot better to use a brush and just kind of really, I'm trying to just not ruin the eye makeup that I just did, but to really just tap it out. So as you can see, just from this half here, it stays quite full coverage when I do that, but it also blends out really, really nicely. Sorry, I'm actually just grabbing a smaller brush here to get in here. It blends out really nicely when you just kind of tap it in with the brush. Okay, so I've tapped out the concealer on both eyes now, and my lights are really quite low, so you're really kind of getting like what this concealer looks like in real life, because that is what I want to achieve. Now, I feel like today was really the wrong day to wear blue eyeshadow, because I feel like the blue eyeshadow is bringing out like the blue dark circles in my under eyes a little bit more than like it normally would. But this concealer really does, like, this is one layer. If you've seen any of my videos where I've concealed before, you know I put quite a few layers on. I feel like this concealer really does do a good job of being quite full coverage. I've never come across a concealer personally that is like full coverage to my liking, that actually covers my pigmentation just like completely and fully. I really haven't. However, I think this concealer, especially for one layer tapped out, really does get as close to that as it's like as I've gotten before, like with say the Jouer high coverage concealer or the Pat McGrath ones. I mean, the Pat McGrath ones really are medium coverage. I just like the way that they layer, that they build up to full coverage. Okay, so I'm gonna set my under eyes just so that you guys can see what this looks like with my setting powder. Now I'm gonna use my Pat McGrath under eye blurring setting powder. This is my favorite setting powder for my under eyes. I absolutely adore it. And I'm just gonna concentrate this to the eye area because I'm also doing a quick little review on the Kosas Cloud Set powder, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so this is what the concealer looks like with setting powder underneath it. And like I've probably said a million times, I am very happy with this concealer. I really like it. The more I use it, the more I like it. So I have set my whole face with the Kosas Cloud Set powder. I've also put a little bit of the Huda Beauty Tantour cream contour on and a little bit of the Hollywood Flawless filter on for my highlight, which the kind of Kosas Cloud Set has kind of taken away, but that's okay. It'll come through at the end of the day. Anyway, so the only thing that's annoying about this kind of palette is that the bronzer is like that small kind of thin pan, and I like to use a big bronzer brush. So the brush I like to use for this is the Delium Tools 990 angled brush, because it is kind of like it's just like it was made for this size pan, you know what I'm saying? And then I just like to do this. I've already used the bronzer portion of this particular product before, so I already knew that I would like it. I did think that it was going to break me out. However, I've probably already said this, but this hasn't been breaking me out, so I don't know what the difference is. Maybe my skincare routine. I'm not sure. But I did know that I would like the bronzer portion of this face palette because I did have the Tantastic bronzer from Marc Jacobs originally, and I knew that the tone was going to be quite nice for my particular skin color. All right, now let's go ahead and put on the highlight portion of this palette. I'm just taking my Linda Hallberg highlighting brush. I have seen so many people say that they do not like this highlight. I don't have that experience. I really, really don't. I like it. The only issue that I'm having is the more that I'm using it, the more this is kind of getting like hard pan. I don't know if you can kind of see that. So that is my only real issue. I don't know if that's going to like turn to a point where I'm not going to be able to actually use this highlight. But other than that, I like the way that this highlight looks on my skin. I'm genuinely pleasantly surprised. I thought I was going to hate the highlight just because I didn't even think that the color was going to suit me. So it's nice when things work out, as they say. And now let's go ahead and use the blush portion of this palette. This is my Linda Hallberg blush brush. This is the product that I hate the most out of this palette. And look how much kick up it has. And that is why I hate it, because it's like super pigmented, but then it blends away straight away, basically. So you've got to be really careful to like build this up slowly. You've got to be careful because it has so much kick up, but then it kind of just like washes off your, like not washes, I don't know, it just like fades off your face really, really quickly. So it's definitely not a long lasting blush. So I personally think that the blush is the least favorite like of the face pans. Yes, I put my blush on my nose. I like to look like I've been in the sun because I don't go in the sun. Okay. But I'm putting extra on because literally this blush, honest to God, it'll go. Like it'll just fade away in like 30 to 40 minutes. So I don't like the blush portion of this face compact as much as I do the bronzer and the highlight. So I just quickly set my face, and like you can see that the blush is already like tamed down a lot already. So that's why I kind of put a little bit more blush on of this product than I would normally, because I mean, I'm heavy handed normally anyway, I guess, with blush and stuff like that. But you know what I mean? I know that it's going to fade away quite quickly, and I don't really want to get to like 30 minutes down the track and really just have no blush left, you know? So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of my face makeup, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to wrap up our thoughts. So just a jiffy and I'll be back. Alrighty, we did it. That wraps up my review on the Marc Jacobs concealer, extra shot concealer I should say, and the Omega x3 face palette. Again, if you were going to pick up either of these products, definitely pick up the concealer over the face palette. I don't think the face palette is a must unless you really just adore that face packaging and you adore Marc Jacobs products regardless, but I just don't think it's a must. I do really like this concealer on my particular under eyes though, so if you find that my concealer recommendations align with you, I feel like you might like this concealer as well. However, no makeup is a must. So you do you, dude. That's all I have to say. Anyway, that is it. Let me know your thoughts. Did you pick them up? Have you been trying them? Do you like them? Are you just like, nah, after watching all the reviews, I'm just like, it's a pass. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm super interested to hear what you guys think. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you enjoyed it. I appreciate it so much. If you are watching to this point, you are a magical unicorn, and I just thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Bye.